Welcome back to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. I'm your host, Jake Stewart. In today's episode, we talked to Lauren Robredo, who's an awesome member here at Mission Viejo, and she kind of talks through her story of battling through injury and yet staying fit even despite being a busy mom and a busy worker. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're sitting with Lauren today. Lauren, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you. So I know there's a lot of people at home that don't know you. I'm sure a lot of your buddies are watching this as well from the 6:15 session here at boot camp. But why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit more about you and kind of who you are, and we'll start there.
Okay. My name's Lauren Robredo. I'm a mom, married, and I work full-time. I work for a wealth management company, so help people manage their assets. And yeah, my son plays soccer, so I'm a soccer mom too. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And I definitely want to touch on that because I know a lot of people, they like to use not necessarily as an excuse, but they like to say it's like, I'm a busy mom or I'm a busy dad. And that's one of the reasons why they can't get into health and fitness. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but something that I kind of want to start with is just a little bit of unpacking the box. Obviously, you're super fit, you're super in shape, and I'm just kind of curious of hey, what got us to this point? So what has fitness looked like for you in the years prior to joining Fit Body? Have you always been fit? Did you play sports growing up? Just kind of unpack from start till almost to where we are now.
Yeah, so I started I ran track when I was younger. I danced, so I've always kind of been active. I did gymnastics. I was always doing tumbling in the living room, so my mom got me into gymnastics. And then I ran track in high school. I had a couple knee surgeries, so didn't do it in college or anything. I wasn't ever professional, but I started running, and then I've just always kind of gone to the gym. Even when I was younger, I grew up in Alaska, so it's cold there in the winter, so I would go to the gym and work out or swim. And then when I was older, I've done yoga, I've done Pilates, I hurt my back, training for a half marathon, running a half marathon, so I did Pilates after that for a while. And then I wanted to do some more weight stuff, but didn't want to go to necessarily a big gym. So my friend introduced me to Fit Body, and I love it. It's fast, it's quick, efficient. That's what I like to do now. So
that's awesome. Something I kind of want to unpack further there is something that I knew that the audience probably didn't until just now. You said you hurt your back. I know that you've had some elbow issues as well. Talk me through kind of, the state of mind of having an injury, but still willing to go in and work out. Because a lot of times when somebody gets hurt, usually their first thought is hey, I'm just going to not do anything. I'm going to rest. I'm going to stay at home. And usually that's when their diet kind of starts to fall off track too. What were some of the things that you did upon hurting your back or maybe hurting your elbow, some of the injuries that you've had that kept you still staying fit and staying active?
Yeah, I think it's just part of my personality. I'm not a person that can just sit around, but obviously having an injury and not being able to do what you normally do is very frustrating. So when I hurt my back, that was kind of a 2-year process. So, I couldn't do much, but when I could, I would go walking or I tried to do yoga. So I just kind of shifted my activity to what worked for me at that point. And then when I hurt my elbow a year ago, I would do lower body stuff. I got a weighted vest, and so I would just do workouts at home because I couldn't have any weight pretty much in my hand. So I just would kind of have to shift what I could do for my body at that time because not being active isn't part of me. But, going through an injury, it's super frustrating that you can't do what you're used to doing and have the capabilities that you normally have. So I would just kind of shift and do what I was able to do at that time.
Yeah, so. No, and you're a special kind of special. There's not a lot of us out there that that have that want and desire to go work out. Saying that you're the kind of person that you don't like just sitting at home.
Yeah.
That actually is pretty rare. Most people would prefer to be sitting at home rather than going in and working out. So that's an awesome baseline. But something I always like to tell our clients is that, when you get injured, it's not about just avoiding your injury altogether. It's about working with your injury and working around it as best you can. And that sounds kind of how you were doing, like you said, when you hurt your upper body, you were saying, hey, yeah, I'm doing a lot of lower body stuff. I'm doing a lot of core, those kind of exercises. And that's something that I want to impart on everybody at home is hey, even if you're injured, even if there's something that is that limiting factor is what we like to call it, that limiting factor doesn't completely limit you from doing anything. There's always something that you could be doing. And I've had clients at boot camp that, are in much more severe injuries than what you've had. to where they can't get on the ground, they can't really bend both knees, maybe they can't even lift their arms, overhead at all, let alone with weights. And it's just really important to, hey, work around those things, because at the end of the day, like as humans and as healthy humans, we need to move our body. Like we always need to be moving our body. We need to be staying in shape. And kudos to you for getting that done despite being injured. Because like I said, that would be the kind of thing that a lot of people would just call it quits. They just give it up. So that's really awesome that you were able to do that. I would like you to kind of talk me through. So you said you did hurt your back, and then you still ran that half marathon after you hurt your back?
Yeah, that wasn't a good choice. So I didn't know it was my back at the time, so I was doing like a training program, and my feet were falling asleep. And I just thought like I'd had shin splints when I was running when I was younger, and I was like, oh, it's probably just like something in my shin. So after I did the half marathon, I just pushed through and did it, which I don't recommend. I've done that before, and it's made my injuries worse. I finally went to the doctor, and a bunch of tests. They figured out I have 2 bulging discs in my lower back, is pushing on nerves in my legs, and I just kept pushing myself and ended up having a way worse injury than I probably would have if I would have stopped. So.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's crazy. And like, well, kudos to you for fighting through that. Obviously, like in hindsight is always 20/20, saying like, hey, I probably should have rested, I probably should have toned it down a little bit. But that's just, like I said, it's just like a special kind of mindset that you have, that you want to get in and you want to get it done so badly.
Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that began my fitness journey as a fitness transformation. Now, you see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and I lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my self-confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life on life's terms. Now, it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. Now, in fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee, yes, guarantee, that you'll lose at least 10 pounds within 6 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now, go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now, thanks, and back to the show.
Something else I wanted to cover too, I had no idea you grew up in Alaska.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool fact. So talk us through, because like even though this is an Orange County podcast, there are people around the world that do listen to these episodes, and a lot of times, in those cold weather climates, even somewhere, like Michigan, I know my Michigan fam usually watches these, like they say, it's like, hey, it's snowing outside. I can't stay healthy and fit when it's snowing. Can you talk me through a little bit of kind of like what that looked like during the wintertime, when it was really brutal, as I'm sure it was?
Yeah. Well, Alaska gets extreme cold, so it's like 30 below, 50 below.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's skiing, there's snowshoeing, stuff you can do outside. But when it was cold like that and I was younger, because I moved when I was 18, but I grew up, most of my childhood there. And I would go just to the gym at the local sports club and do the machines. I would swim, weights, treadmill. So just something inside you could do, because it's dark and it's cold there, and you can get depressed there. A lot of people get depressed because there's not a lot of light. So I just would go to the gym pretty much and
that's awesome.
Find something to do.
No, that's awesome. So I mean, that speaks a testament. You at home, don't let weather be your excuse. So whether it's too hot or too cold, you can always get it done. But something else I like that you mentioned there too, and something I always like to remind our clients and anybody watching at home, is that one of the best ways to combat depression or stress or anxiety is to get a good workout in, because you always feel better. I've never left a workout feeling worse or in a worse mental state. I've always left feeling better, regardless.
Exactly.
So that's really, really awesome. Now that we've kind of touched on all of the stuff leading up to it, kind of growing up and stuff, can you talk to me a little bit more about like your fit body experience? How long have you been here? What kind of like results, or how have you liked the program, and just kind of give me the ins and outs of Fit Body Bootcamp a little bit.
Yeah, so I started, I think it's going to be 3 years in October.
That's awesome.
I think. I'm like, time flies. So, but 3 years. But yeah, one of my best friends, she started working out here, and she's like, oh, you should come try a class. So I did the week free, and then I signed up for the month, and then I just kept going, because I don't have a lot of time in my day, and it is a very efficient workout. You guys mix up all the different exercises. There's something different every day. There's different equipment. I like the fast pace. I like the cardio with the weights. I like that I can go up in weights. You guys have a bunch of different weights here. You guys are super encouraging here. It's fun. Like I've kind of have my little, group of people that I've been working out with at 6:15. And yeah, I like the workouts a lot.
That's awesome, yeah. And something I always like to remind everybody too, like that's what we say sets Fit Body Bootcamp apart is not a lot of gyms offer a 30-minute session. So that 30-minute session is kind of like the sweet spot where we can get a lot of work done, we burn a lot of calories, we see a lot of fat loss, we see a lot of muscle gain, but we're not sticking you here for hours on end, because you think like if you have an hour-long workout, it's going to probably take you 15 minutes to get to the gym or in between-ish there, then an hour at the gym, and then another 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden an hour workout becomes an hour and a half, an hour 45, depending on your proximity. Whereas a 30-minute workout, even if it takes you a couple minutes to get here, it's gonna probably all come in with less than an hour. Which I know is important for you since you're busy mom and you're working full time, which a lot of people, like I said, like to use that kind of as an excuse to not do those things. With your busy schedule and I always see you in here, I always see you crushing the workouts. All that stuff is on lock. Now I'm curious, a little bit kind of on the nutrition side, because a lot of times too, usually busy moms or busy workers or whoever it is, a lot of times they say like, I'm too busy to eat healthy. My guess is that you're not having Taco Bell for every meal. If I just had to randomly guess, I don't know a whole lot about your nutrition, but can you talk us through just some of like kind of the tips and kind of practices that you take to make sure that you're eating healthy, so then that your workouts are also subsidized by your good diet?
I try to meal plan for the week, so I see what we have in our freezer, proteins, what we have in our freezer, kind of build around that, but just a lot of vegetables. Like my son isn't a picky eater because my husband and I eat pretty much everything. We're not picky either. We love food. I love food. Like I'm a foodie. I'll eat all different types of food, but I just try to meal plan, have things on hand that are healthy, fruits, vegetables. We do fruit and yogurt in the morning, like stuff that's easy too. So I just try to have good food on hand and try to meal plan and know what I'm going to make. Like if my son has soccer that night, it's like, okay, I can put some chicken meatballs in the air fryer, and make some broccoli and some, Trader Joe's microwave rice, and it's 20 minutes, because we're eating at 7:30, which is later sometimes. So I just try to set us up for the week where we have food on hand. Like it's not like, oh, let's go grab something, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I always love to remind everybody that, the perfection is in the preparation. So making sure that you're prepared, because like you just said, kind of toward the tail end of that is if we don't have something on hand, that's usually when we're more likely to go get something. And most likely when you go get something, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be very good. It's probably going to be something quick. It's probably going to be something easy, probably something relatively inexpensive. And usually that means probably something not that healthy. So it's really important that you do plan. Would you say kind of in terms of like healthy eating, like all around between you, your husband, and your son, would you say it's like 80% like really, really good, and then about 20% sometimes kind of going off and kind of having those cheat meals and stuff?
Oh yeah, I would say that for sure. I like French fries, like I like a burger, so I'm like, I don't eat perfect. I don't think anyone does. I'm like, you have to enjoy some things too.
100%.
But yeah, I would say probably 80-20 is a good.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and it's good to have the balance, because a lot of times too, especially when people are just starting their fitness journey, they might look online, they might see like, so-and-so bodybuilder posted their meal plan. It's like, you're telling me all I can eat is, chicken, asparagus, and rice for every single meal all the time, and I have to have egg whites in the morning. No, you don't. You find something that you like. I really like that you said like, that you always try to have like yogurt and berries and stuff on hand, easy, quick breakfast, like it's good.
Eggs.
Yeah, hard-boiled eggs. Awesome. No, that's really, really important. It's just all about that balance. So like, I would love to sit here and tell the audience like, hey, I eat 100% perfect all the time. I don't stray away from it. I always get my protein goal. I always do this. I don't. Even as a fitness and fat loss coach, I don't eat perfect because I enjoy life. I enjoy life, but I also enjoy being healthy. So if I were to eat 20% good and 80% bad, yeah, my taste buds would be super happy, but I wouldn't be happy. I would be very, very sad. I'd be out of shape. I'd be feeling groggy. I'd have no energy. Which is really, really important. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really awesome. It's kind of to bring this all home. Now I'm curious if you have any advice. So there's probably, like we call our client avatar here at Fit Body Bootcamp, Mrs. Jones. She's probably in her 30s, 40s, 50s. She probably has a kid, maybe 2 kids. She probably has a couple of pounds to lose. She probably has never felt really comfortable being inside of a gym environment. If you could talk directly to Mrs. Jones and give her some advice to kind of get her off the couch and get her started, what would that advice be?
I feel like at Fit Body, like there's all different ages, body shapes, body types. I feel like it's very comfortable coming here. I don't feel like anyone is intimidated, like coming in here. I've always had a good experience. I think everyone does. You guys make it very welcoming, very encouraging. But it's like just try to fit it in where you can. Like I wake up early. I'm not a morning person. I don't sleep well most of the time, but it's the only time that I'm gonna be able to get up and get a workout in. And like you said, you never regret a workout. So it always just makes you feel better. Once you get it in, you have to start somewhere and just try to fit it in where you can and just try to make it work, for you. That's
really awesome. So Lauren, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending your time. I know you have a really busy schedule, so I appreciate you blocking this off for us.
Yeah.
It's so awesome getting to know you just a little bit more. I'm sure our audience got a lot of really awesome stuff from that. If you guys did get value from this episode, be sure to like, comment, and share this with a friend. So share this with somebody that might need that little extra push to get off the couch. Don't take it from me, take it from Lauren. That Fit Body Bootcamp and really any exercise program, we're here to help. And that's what we want. We want you to live happier and healthier lives. And team, we'll see you guys in the next episode.